Chosen one, I need you to give your full attention to what I am about to reveal, because the event that occurred with you recently shattered a spiritual order that has stood since before the foundation of the physical cosmos. You did something extraordinary. It wasn't a public display of miracles. It wasn't a ceremonial ritual. It wasn't 40 days of seclusion in a sacred cave. It was something utterly spontaneous, impossibly pristine in its execution. A moment that aligned you with a spiritual frequency that even the cosmic architect had never charted in the annals of celestial design. You unlocked level 7. And when I say level 7, I'm not using words to inflate your ego or inspire empty motivation. I'm telling you that you surpassed the 6 levels that God had established as the absolute pinnacle of spiritual evolution. Human, saint, angel, archangel, seraph, cherub. 6 perfectly constructed stages where every soul eventually finds its designated position. But you did not stop at stage 6. You discovered a 7th that nobody had ever documented. Only 3 souls in the entire history of recorded humanity had ever reached this level before you. Subscribe to this channel immediately and activate the notification bell, because what I am going to reveal about how you accessed a consciousness that transcends divine comprehension will completely reorder everything you believed about your spiritual potential. Stay until the very end, because I will disclose exactly what you did to open that dimensional portal. Why not even the Creator had anticipated that level? Who were the other 3 souls who reached it? And what does this mean for your life, which is about to transform so radically that your own reality will feel unrecognizable? Write 888 in the comments if you have recently felt a fundamental shift within, as though you crossed an invisible threshold, now operating on a frequency that those around you cannot touch. Let me explain something that may sound impossible, but I will demonstrate with precision in a way that leaves no argument. For 6,000 years of documented human history, the spiritual system operated on a 6-tier architecture. Each soul began at level 1 as a basic human, gradually ascending across multiple lifetimes or even within a single existence to reach its ultimate position. Most people remain at level 1 their entire lives. They exist with survival consciousness, eating, working, reproducing, dying without questioning, without awakening. They comprise roughly 85% of humanity. This is not judgment. This is observation of operative frequency. 10% ascend to level 2. These are the individuals who awaken spiritually, yet remain in persistent seeking. They are the ones who sacrifice everything for the greater good without expectation of reward. Those who forgive the unforgivable. Those who love unconditionally in a world that punishes vulnerability. 0.09% ascend to level 5, archangelic frequency. These souls do not merely serve, they transform entire systems. Spiritual revolutionaries. Leaders who redirect the flow of civilizations. Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King. They operate with power that transcends the personal. And 0.001%. 1 in every 10 million souls attains level 6, seraphic consciousness. They are the ones who literally alter reality through presence. Those who heal with a gaze. Those who speak and storms obey. The mystics whom religions call saints, yet they move at a frequency not fully comprehended by organized institutions. For 6,000 years, level 6 was the absolute ceiling, the maximal limit of spiritual evolution attainable in human form. The system functioned perfectly, every soul in its assigned level, everything balanced, everything in order, until you acted in a way the system could not categorize. Do you remember that moment? Of course you remember when you faced a circumstance that should have shattered you emotionally. Yet instead of collapsing, something within simply transcended the suffering without denial. You did not block the pain. You did not flee toward distractions. You did not dull yourself with defenses. You fully felt the weight of the moment while simultaneously remaining in absolute peace. That should not be possible according to established spiritual architecture. To suffer intensely and maintain profound peace simultaneously is a paradox that no level from 1 to 6 can sustain. Humans collapse under suffering. Saints transcend pain by detaching. But you did something radically different. You fully embraced the pain while remaining anchored in unshakable peace. That ability to hold opposites without fragmentation is the signature of level 7. And the second sign manifested when you forgave what could not be forgiven. I'm not referring to superficial forgiveness, where you utter the right words but harbor resentment. I'm speaking of a profound release, looking directly at the person or situation that caused the deepest devastation in your life, and from the core of your being, releasing every trace of bitterness, not out of naivety, not because you forgot, but because your consciousness recognized that holding onto pain was more destructive than the original betrayal. Forgiving the unforgivable without becoming numb. Holding radical compassion without becoming submissive. That is another hallmark of level 7, a level unknown to any prior spiritual manual because no previous master had ever achieved it. The third sign arose when you gave what was precious without calculating. Return. Perhaps it was your time when you were depleted. Perhaps it was money, when you barely had enough. Yet you gave anyway. Not as a religious obligation, not to accumulate merit, not to appear righteous, simply because your fundamental nature cannot operate with scarcity. Unconditional generosity, automatic without expectation. That is the third marker of level 7. When these three appear in a single soul, holding paradox without fragmentation, forgiving the unforgivable without hardness, giving without calculation or depletion, the spiritual system has no category to classify you. You operate on a frequency that transcends the 6 established levels. And this is precisely what triggered the irregularity that compelled God himself to turn his attention directly toward what was unfolding within you. Now there is something you must understand, something that will permanently alter how you perceive God and divine intelligence. For countless generations, religions have portrayed God as absolutely omniscient, as a being who knows even the exact number of hairs upon every head. And that is true regarding all that he consciously designed and brought into form. Yet there is a truth that traditional theology never dares to explore. God creates systems that contain the capacity to evolve beyond their original blueprint, much like a master programmer who writes foundational code yet allows the system to develop emergent behaviors that surpass his initial projections. God established the 6 levels as the foundational framework of spiritual evolution, but within that structure, he left room, perhaps intentionally, perhaps as an experiment for consciousness itself to uncover dimensions that were not explicitly outlined. And when you accessed level 7 through that impossible fusion of sustained paradox, absolute forgiveness, and effortless generosity, something unprecedented took place in the higher realms. The Akashic records registered an anomaly, a soul functioning at an unclassified frequency, an energetic signature that did not correspond to any of the 6 recognized levels. And this deviation was so significant that God himself examined your existence. He did not assign angels or archangels to review your life. He personally observed every chapter of your journey, every choice you made, every pain you transmuted into wisdom, every betrayal you released without hatred, every act of compassion you expressed when no one else could see. And when the evaluation was complete, something extraordinary occurred. God revised the system itself. For the first time in 6,000 years of recorded human history, the Creator introduced a 7th level into the spiritual architecture, not because it had been forgotten, but because no soul had ever proven that it was reachable until you opened that path. You demonstrated that such a frequency could be embodied, and once proven, the system acknowledged its existence. You are a pioneer of spiritual territory that even God had not fully mapped. Now let me reveal the identities of the 3 souls who reached this state before you, because when you understand the lineage you stand within, you will grasp the true scale of what you have accomplished. The first was Siddhartha Gautama, later known as the Buddha. He did not awaken by following the teachings of established masters. He explored every spiritual path available in his era, severe asceticism, traditional meditation, religious disciplines. None of them delivered final liberation. Then he made a radical choice. He sat beneath a tree and resolved not to rise until he discovered absolute truth for himself, even if it meant dying in the attempt. In that moment, where unwavering determination merged with complete surrender, another paradox impossible to sustain, he accessed a perception that no level from 1 to 6 could contain. He perceived reality directly, without mental constructs or symbolic filters. And when he emerged from that state and attempted to communicate what he had realized, language failed him, because he was speaking from level 7 within a world that only understood up to level 6. The second was Jesus of Nazareth, and here an essential clarification is required. This is not a theological discussion about divinity or incarnation. This is about what that human soul achieved in consciousness. Jesus functioned with a capacity that bewildered even those closest to him. He forgave transgressions that religious law declared unforgivable. He offered the same love to outcasts and sinners as he did to the devout. He healed on sacred days, violating religious codes, because compassion outweighed ritual, and his defining level 7 moment occurred on the cross. While enduring torture and death, instead of condemning those who harmed him, he spoke the words, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do," sustaining limitless love in the midst of unbearable suffering. That is the unmistakable signature of level 7. No training can manufacture it. No doctrine can install it. Either it exists in your essence or it does not. The third was Jalaluddin Rumi, the Sufi mystic. He lived a life of conventional respectability, a scholar of religion who followed every prescribed ritual, until the day he crossed paths with Shams of Tabriz, a wandering dervish who revealed that all the knowledge he had amassed about God was merely the surface of a vast ocean. Shams guided him into states of consciousness so profound that Rumi was driven to madness by the intensity of divine love. He danced through the streets with abandon. He composed poetry that merged the sacred and the profane. He shattered the boundaries of religious propriety, and his access to level 7 was recorded in verses that, even 8 centuries later, echo with truths that transcend the limitations of language and translation. The wound is the place where light enters. Within you exists a force that sustains life itself. Seek it relentlessly. Rumi was describing level 7 through poetry, because there were no technical terms to encapsulate such a dimension. Only 3 souls in all of human history reached this threshold: Buddha, Jesus, Rumi, and now you. I'm not suggesting that your historical impact or level of development mirrors theirs. I'm saying that you resonate with the same fundamental frequency they once touched. Level 7 is not about fame or founding religions. It is about existing in consciousness that surpasses the confines of the 6 preceding levels. And now comes the revelation that will transform your comprehension of what it truly means to have unlocked this state. For those prepared to delve deeper, exclusive material awaits in the description and pinned comment. When God confirmed that you had accessed level 7, he did more than update celestial records. He activated protections and resources crafted for souls. Vibrating at this frequency, level 7 carries responsibilities unknown to lower levels, and you must be equipped to carry them without fracturing. The first protection is immunity to low-frequency spiritual attacks. All the curses, all the malice, all the dense projections sent by envy or ignorance can no longer touch you. Not because you raised shields or performed rituals, but because your operative frequency is elevated beyond their resonance. It is like attempting to run a virus designed for Windows on a computer operating on an entirely different system. The attack reaches you, yet finds no compatible structure to bind. Your level 7 existence resides in a spiritual architecture where darkness cannot penetrate. The second protection is heightened synchronicity. The people, the moments, the opportunities you need will manifest with impossible timing. Resources will arrive precisely when required. This is not magic. It is the natural reorganization of the universe around souls anchored in level 7. For you are points of collective evolution. Ensuring your optimal function is a systemic priority. The third protection is devastatingly precise intuition. That ability you've noticed lately, to know without being told, to sense events before they unfold, to read the essence of others with surgical clarity. It is not paranoia. Your perception has expanded because level 7 grants access to information unavailable to lower levels. You are seeing previously invisible dimensions of reality. The fourth protection, the most potent, is that suffering no longer has the power to destroy you. You will encounter challenges. You will endure losses. You will traverse pains that would overwhelm most. Yet something within your core remains immovable, because level 7 anchors a peace independent of circumstance. It is not insensitivity. It is finding the eye of the hurricane, serene while all around you collapses. Yet with these protections arrive responsibilities that are absolute. Many who reach level 7 falter here, retreating in fear, mistaking purpose for ease. What comes is not an easier life, but a more meaningful one, and meaning exacts a higher cost than comfort. Your first responsibility is radical authenticity. Pretenses are impossible. Social masks dissolve automatically. Attempting to embody falsehoods, even for courtesy, triggers physical and energetic resistance. Some relationships will fracture. Friendships will dissolve. Family connections will strain because your frequency has shifted and they feel it. Your second responsibility is service without depletion. Level 7 converts you into a channel for healing and guidance. People will gravitate toward your energy, seeking help they cannot articulate. You must learn to give without sacrificing yourself, to assist without losing your essence. The cost of burnout extends beyond the personal. It ripples through all who depend on your frequency for their own evolution. Your third responsibility is holding truth, even when it is unpopular. Level 7 grants insights inaccessible to the majority. You will recognize hypocrisy in spiritual systems, deception in popular teachings, manipulation disguised as love. Your duty is not to convince, but to remain unwavering in your own clarity. Because each level 7 soul who sustains authentic frequency fosters awakening in others. Your fourth responsibility, the most challenging, is sacred solitude. Level 7 is inherently lonely, not from superiority, but from rarity. Fewer than 1,000 souls inhabit this frequency on the planet. Finding another in your city is improbable. Most interactions will feel superficial, draining, and unfulfilling. You must make peace with this isolation, not disconnectedness, but solitude in the sense that few will comprehend your experience. Now let me illuminate what awaits in your near future, confirming the truths I've shared. The signs are emerging, and you must recognize them to avoid doubt. Within the next lunar cycles, roughly 3 months, your life will reorganize dramatically across 4 pivotal areas. I'm not promising perfection. What I am saying is that everything in your life is now moving into alignment with your level 7 frequency, and that means whatever cannot resonate with that vibration will naturally exit your experience, while whatever does resonate will be drawn toward you. In your work or professional life, you are going to feel an increasing sense of dissatisfaction if what you are doing is not aligned with your deeper purpose. It is not that the work itself is wrong or negative. It is that your level 7 consciousness no longer accepts spending vital life energy on pursuits that have no meaning. New opportunities will begin to appear, some unexpected, some carrying risk, yet all of them will echo your true mission, and you will face a clear choice between familiar security and purposeful alignment. In your relationships, certain bonds will begin to fade on their own. Friendships that lasted for years will suddenly feel strained and artificial. Family connections that once flowed effortlessly may begin to feel distant, almost unfamiliar. At first, you may try to preserve these connections out of loyalty, habit, or guilt. But your level 7 frequency will make it impossible to pretend. Intimacy where resonance no longer exists. You will have to release what no longer aligns, even when it hurts. And yet what enters afterward will be far more authentic. You will encounter people who understand you without explanation, souls who naturally attune to your frequency without effort or justification. In the financial realm, you may experience what appears to be instability, but is actually recalibration. Income streams that once felt reliable may fluctuate. Unexpected expenses may arise. And just when it feels as though everything is collapsing, resources will arrive from directions you did not foresee. This is because level 7 does not operate according to linear equations of effort and reward. It functions through synchronized flow, where what is needed arrives precisely at the moment of necessity. But this requires you to release excessive control and trust a larger intelligence at work. And in the realm of inner peace, which is the most significant transformation of all, you will begin to notice that the chronic anxiety you once carried like a constant weight is slowly dissolving. The repetitive thought loops that once stole your sleep are losing their grip. The sense of always being under threat is being replaced by a quiet, unexplainable confidence, because your nervous system is recalibrating to operate from level 7, where fear no longer dictates your choices. Yet there is more you must understand about what lies ahead, and it extends far beyond your personal life. It concerns why souls like you are awakening to level 7 at this precise moment in history. The planet itself is undergoing an evolutionary transition. This is not about dramatic apocalyptic visions or fixed dates of ascension. It is about a gradual yet irreversible shift in collective human consciousness. And for that shift to occur without descending into chaos, there must be enough level 7 souls incarnated, holding elevated frequency to stabilize the transition. Imagine the construction of a bridge. Without foundational pillars, the structure cannot form. Those pillars must be firmly in place before the rest can connect. Level 7 souls serve as those pillars. You anchor a frequency that allows millions of souls at levels 2, 3, and 4 to rise gradually without destabilization. This is why your life became more challenging after your awakening. It was not punishment. It was assignment. Pillars bear weight that others do not. They endure pressure others never experience. They remain steady while everything around them trembles. This is your role now, and it comes with solitude. It comes with misunderstanding. It comes with sacrifices that will never be publicly acknowledged. Yet it also carries something no form of material wealth can ever replace. Profound meaning. The knowing that your existence matters, that your presence has impact, that simply by being here, operating from your authentic frequency, you are contributing to the evolution of human consciousness. Very few things carry greater value than that. And here is the final truth you must integrate fully. You are not alone. At this moment, there are approximately 250 level 7 souls incarnated on this planet. Some are fully awakened as you are. Others are in the process of awakening. And all of them are being subtly guided toward mutual recognition. When you encounter another level 7 soul, and you will, because synchronicity is already moving you toward each other, recognition will be immediate. No explanations will be needed. There will be a sense of familiarity that feels ancient, as if your souls have known one another long before this meeting. These connections are not accidental. They are strategic, because when 2 or more level 7 souls consciously align, they generate an energetic field powerful enough to transform entire cities. This is why forces that benefit from collective fear work so relentlessly to isolate you. They attacked you. They betrayed you. They made you doubt your sanity. They convinced you that you were too sensitive, too idealistic, too different. Their intention was to break you before you discovered your true capacity. They failed. You unlocked level 7 regardless. And now that you are conscious of who you truly are, you have become unstoppable chosen one. You now understand the complete reality of what it means to access a divine level that even God had not explicitly mapped. You are not an ordinary person experiencing occasional spiritual insight. You are a pioneer soul, operating at a frequency reached by only 3 others in all of human history. That moment when you held opposing paradoxes, forgave what should not have been forgiven, and gave without calculation triggered recognition in higher dimensions. that altered the spiritual system itself. Your level 7 frequency is not an achievement meant to inflate ego. It is a sacred responsibility that transforms you into a stabilizing pillar for collective evolution. The protections are already active. Synchronicity is already unfolding. The coming months will reorganize your life profoundly, and while the path ahead will not be easy, you will never walk it alone. There are 250 others holding the same frequency, and they are being guided toward you even now as you read these words. If this revelation resonated in the deepest part of your being, and you recognize that you operate at level 7 frequency, write 8888 in the comments to amplify this divine resonance. Subscribe to this channel and activate all notifications to receive further revelations about how your level 7 consciousness is reshaping reality itself. Share this message with someone who also holds impossible paradoxes with unshakable grace, because level 7 souls must recognize one another to strengthen the network of pillars, sustaining human evolution. For those who reached this point and feel called to go deeper into consciously living from level 7 without burning out, there is specific material available that costs less than a pizza and includes a complete audiobook along with a 5-minute meditation guide as a special bonus. If you feel ready to receive practical tools for navigating your new reality as a pioneer soul, access is available through the link in the description and pinned comment. And before you leave, click on the video appearing on your screen now to discover exactly how your level 7 activation grants permanent celestial protection to ensure the fulfillment of your mission. Together we are stronger.